And hello there YouTubers, it is Collected Tooth 5. This time I will be talking about the Vimana Shastra and the Mercury Vortex engine. Now, if you know what the Vimana Shastra is, whether you're a scientist or a Hindu script writer, or if you are if you've just seen my videos before and have watched Ancient Aliens, well then I'm glad, and you probably know all about it, and well, you don't have to watch this video, but please watch it. Anyways, if you don't know what it is, then please watch the Ancient Aliens episode that's dedicated to Vimana Shastra. Link in description below, or link in description below. Anyways, Ancient Aliens is a pretty good show, and they will explain it pretty well. Vimana Shastra is, let me just sum it up for you. It is a scripture written about 3,000 years ago by Hindu priests that describe ancient space travel. Now, if you know my channel, you know that this probably won't come to any surprise because I talk about stuff like this a lot. If this is the first video you've seen on my channel, then you will probably be surprised and you'll probably think I'm crazy, which I might be because I'm not that sure. Anyways, so the Vimana Shastra is a pretty big book and it has tons of illustrations, and it's been translated to English, thankfully, because I don't want to learn Hinduism. Anyways, um, and, and the crazy thing about this book is that, well, people at NASA and people at JPL and people and pretty well-known scientists today, they look at these illustrations, they study them, and these illustrations are pretty sound. They would make sense and they would work in space, which is very crazy because how did people 3,000 years ago know about space? Now, there are two theories that I believe in, or not believe in, that two theories that I think that might be true. First of all, the civilization back 3,000 years ago or earlier were very advanced, such as the Atlanteans, Atlantis, Lemurians, Lemuria. Those are two fictional, sort of maybe fictional, that are based on maybe true civilizations, and maybe they were so advanced they traveled to Mars or traveled to, well, at least to space. Now, the other theory is that aliens gave us this technology and told us, well, what it was like up there, and they advanced our civilization by giving us information. Now, this just doesn't have. This is the ancient alien theory, which is what Ancient Aliens is about, to support it and to bring a lot of evidence that you will never have seen uh, to the surface, to light. Now, if you are a known scientist, you still will be surprised at the stuff that they will be talking about, and they will show you some crazy things that you will never heard about, and you'll be wondering why. Such as, why are they hiding it? By they, I mean mainstream media, mainstream scientists. Why are they hiding some of the stuff? Or if they are, or if they're not hiding it, then, well, how come they're not saying anything about it? Now, that's another reason you should watch Ancient Aliens. Anyways, let me get to the point. The Vimana Shastra has some very accurate drawings, sketches. Another thing is that you have an engine called the Vortex engine, the Mercury Vortex engine. Now, it might be that the Vortex engine was actually, in fact, made out of mercury, or it might not have. It could have been lost in translation, but it is most likely mercury because mercury, well, it kind of fits the description, solid and liquid in room temperature. Also, the ancients had an obsession with mercury. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. The ancient pharaohs of Egypt, a lot of their tombs had mercury, whether in glass vales or in cups or on offerings or on jewelry. They had a lot of mercury, and a lot of times people have stopped digging through tombs because of high mercury content. Now, that's just one example. The other one is the first emperor of China, whose name is impossible to pronounce. Anyways, he was the first emperor, the first unified emperor of China. So that is not the Yellow Emperor, the more famous one, I believe. I don't think it's the Yellow Emperor. Anyways, um, he built a mountain to store his body and the rest of his army that died. Yeah, he was a rich guy. Anyways, he built a mountain that is not exactly, but a little bit under 1 square mile. Imagine that. Imagine your tomb being a mountain, a square mile long. I mean, a square mile, almost a mile long by almost a mile wide. To put that into perspective, that is about 4 times the size of the Great Pyramid of Giza. It's not as tall, it uses the same amount of mass stones, but the crazy thing about this is that according to a lot of scripts of the ancient Chinese, the mountain is supposed to be hollow, and there's supposed to be rivers of mercury surrounding the main central tomb, and there are supposed to be armies, and the souls of the armies are supposed to protect the central tomb. Um, Another thing is that there is a ceiling because well, it's hollow. There has to be there is a ceiling, and supposedly there is a very accurate description of a not a very accurate model of the night sky. Now I'll be doing a video about this, so don't worry. I will be doing a video about the Yellow Emperor and the emperors of China and their mysterious things that they have done. There's one emperor that lived like 500 years old. There's another guy, stuff like that. Anyways, that's for another video. Anyways, uh, so Mercury is obviously being obsessed over back then. Also, if you're wondering why they haven't dug through the that tomb yet, the big 1 square mile tomb, so to speak, it's because, well, first of all, the high mercury content, they have detected high mercury content, so they're gonna be careful. And also, any form of excavation that we know now could destroy the whole tomb because it's very fragile. And hopefully they could unlock the inside very soon. That would be great. I'd love to see what's inside. It might be the next biggest discovery in human civilization. Now, uh, Mercury Vortex. Let's hit into the second part of the video. Okay, so the Vimana Shastra talks about something called a Vimana, which is basically a flying saucer that the ancient Hindus built in order to live in because, well, sometimes they had great floods. Anyways, this took place mostly in India and up to Nepal, places like that. Anyways, and supposedly the ships were supposedly mainly domes, and sometimes they were domes on top of domes on top of domes that were connected. Um, and the Vimana Shastra and other Hindu texts said of this great war, and there was supposedly a air war, a war like a dogfight through the air with Vimanas. Another thing is that there was a weapon of mass destruction that sounds a little bit like a nuclear bomb. You could see that in also the first episode of Ancient Aliens, the one called The Evidence. Link in the description below. Anyways, the actual blueprints are surprisingly accurate. There's some things that are lost in translation, and we have no idea. We're still working on. Not we. I'm not included. Some people are still working on the translations and wondering what's going on and stuff like that. Okay, Mercury Vortex. A vortex engine is a engine that basically creates a sort of like a tornado or a hurricane. They have a air vortex, which basically creates an air funnel that creates a surrounding vortex basically, and it supposedly turns a turbine and creates electricity. That was created by Norman Love and Louis Michelad. That was the first actual part where we actually used vortex to our advantage, not including Vimanas. What they did is that they filled the same exact thing, sort of like a cylinder or a round ball, and they filled it with mercury, which not to mention is both solid and liquid at room temperature, and it creates a vortex, and apparently at a certain RPM or certain magnetism or certain environments, it could cause levitation. Now, how this supposedly works is that, well, the vortex engine supposedly creates a negative gravitational effect, which means it's sort of like a positive battery and another positive battery. It separates each other. Now, what's crazy about this is that if you were to put it against other kinds of mass or massive things such as, well, the Earth, it would repel from the Earth, creating, well, levitation. Now, this is pretty cool because, well, it's the first actual evidence that we could actually create a hoverboard that, well, um, almost never runs out of battery. Almost never runs out of battery. It probably still will. Anyways, uh, the thing about this is that, well, we've tried to replicate it. Well, we haven't tried yet, but what if there is this magical thing in, well, alchemy that says that mercury causes levitation? Now, alchemy is the study of different materials, putting them together into creating crazy things, such as, well, the drug for immortality and turning regular objects into gold. Anyways, alchemy is a pretty cool science. It's more spiritual than anything else. It's not like herbology or witchcraft. It's just something by itself. It stands by witchcraft and herbology, but if alchemy does apply to the real world, then this might actually be a very accurate. Well, it might actually just work. I still wouldn't rule it out. I don't think it'll work though. Or if it does, then maybe it's not mercury. It's something else. It's another thing. Something that's also magnetic. Um, I just if it isn't a Mercury vortex, then I just hope that the Mercury vortex, whatever it is, it may create a infinite source of electricity. Because, well, wouldn't that be great? The only problem is that the infinite source must come from a source, which might be either a black hole or the air or certain matter. And if it is certain matter, then it will turn itself into a black hole, and that won't be good. Um, yeah. Uh, Hopefully this just works. Hopefully there's more people are looking into this more. I hope so. I hope I open your eyes. Please watch the episodes. That's all I could say. I just gave my opinions. I know it's a long video, but I hope it's true, and I just they go a little bit more in depth in Ancient Aliens. So please visit that link if you have about an hour and a half. If you could spare an hour and a half, just watch the video. It's very interesting. It gives off some pretty interesting points. That's about it for this video. Please like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.